Okay, welcome back, Richard. Yeah, this is the second session. After the first one, we come to this stage. We're gonna continue now, and which is fun. Richard, did you watch that the video showing the English boys, making a four-wheel, cart? Oh, we can now hear you. Yeah, yeah, the same thing. Oh, oh, oh. Let's see. Okay. Well, yeah. You come back. Yeah. That was a wonderful video showing a group of kids in UK probably that make a four-wheel, cart that apparently the guy sitting the boy sitting in the front trying to break to break one of the wheels and to make the turns and but the back wheel is sort of like our wheel, no, at the back, kind of it's just the guy holding it, right? Apparently he can control or he can brake the back wheels. So I think all four wheels can be you know can be brake, right, using the brake. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, it shows that your microphone is muted. Oh, the setting. So maybe I need to change the setting maybe. I changed this. I set it so that everyone join is muted. Oh no, I disable it. No, it's okay. I didn't. Um, yeah, it shows that your microphone is not muted, but then for some reason we cannot hear you. Maybe let me kick this one out. Maybe, right? Maybe you get this one kicked out. Uh, let's see what's going on. Let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, okay. Oh no, still. I wonder whether it has something to do with this third person. Who is this guy? Uh, is it you or someone else? I don't want to kick someone out. See, we have a fourth person now.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We got you. Yeah, yeah. That's good. We hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Now,
Oh, you know what I think it might be?
yeah.
I think it's that I have a keyboard
Mm-hmm.
that is Bluetooth. It's a Bluetooth key,
Oh, yeah.
and I think that I have to be careful
Right.
that it has the Bluetooth connection.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it takes two or three hits on the keyboard
Right.
to lock in the connection.
Ah, yeah.
So
That Bluetooth
I
automatic.
have
Yeah.
to kind of be sure that my keyboard is activated.
Right.
Otherwise, I come in, I try to allow, but I don't think
I
it's like,
see.
oh, maybe it's not accepting it.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, what's going
Yeah.
on.
Maybe. Yeah. It's possible. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you earlier that have you watched that video showing a group of kids riding on four-wheel wooden cars they made themselves.
Oh, the one that Corin.
Yeah, it's a long video.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched. Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah, very
But
crazy, very
fun.
dangerous.
But
It's
fun. Yeah, very very experimental, right?
yeah, but
Trying.
apparently they use braking, right,
Hmm?
to make it turn. because there's no steering wheel.
Yeah, braking can be used for turning. Yeah.
Yeah, looks
Hmm.
like they use similar mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this has been known for a long time.
Oh
As you
yeah.
say, tractors, tanks,
Yeah.
all kinds of mobility, right? And
Yeah.
tanks are very mobile, right? I mean, they can
Yeah.
move and they can go all terrain. So
Yeah.
steering by braking is well known, and it's this is not sort of experimental,
No.
but what we would do
Yeah.
is we would use programming,
Yeah.
and we would have on board like an AI
Okay.
system
Yeah.
that understands the technology, completely, right?
Right.
That knows how the system behaves
Right.
at all different situations and speed and so on,
Yes.
and can calculate, like when you use your ABS braking.
Yes.
Well, it comes on when it's needed, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a computer that's saying, "Uh-oh, we're skidding, so we better do
Yeah.
the ABS."
Yeah.
Means that there's a computer takes over
Mm-hmm.
and applies the brake,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so all you're doing is touching the brake pedal,
Yeah.
but the computer's doing the braking.
That's right.
So same thing here.
Yeah.
We can have like a joystick. So the
Yeah.
steering, there won't be any need of any steering wheel, right? Because
Right.
you're not even turning. There's nothing turning. There's nothing to turn.
That's
You
right.
know, the wheels look like they're not moving almost, but of course
Mm-hmm.
their speed, their RPM is changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can control this left, right,
Yes.
slow, fast, slow down, speed
Yeah.
up. We can control all of that with the joystick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it'll be like a video game.
Yeah. And then
And
there's no need to do reverse, right? Because
sure,
to
yeah.
turn.
Well, you can turn so easily, but yes, you
Yes.
can reverse. Certainly, you can also reverse. It's
Yeah. You
no
can. But
problem to
yeah.
reverse. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 In which case, the back wheel will turn right around, right?
That's
It'll
right.
turn.
Yeah.
It'll face sort of the wrong way or the backwards way.
Yeah.
But it's like a shopping cart,
Yeah. Yeah.
shopping cart,
Yeah.
and those wheels, you get a
That's
sticky
right.
one,
Mm-hmm.
won't turn, right? And
Yeah.
and so it vibrates, right?
Yeah. Vibrate. Yeah.
So that's what this is. It's so simple, right? It's
Yeah.
like this well known. None of this is very really but what we're doing, putting it together in a very simple package.
That's right. Yeah. Indeed. Mm-hmm.
So there is one other element to the story, to this design that I think maybe we could do,
Yeah.
today. So Young, are you up for a little more drawing?
All right. Let's see your screen.
Ready for a little more drawing?
Yeah.
All right. So what's missing right now is it's the suspension. Yeah, the
Yeah.
suspension is missing. So let's go to the back wheel
Yeah.
and remember that what we call the swing arm, right? With the two coming out from the two arms coming out towards the rear wheel, right? Well, they won't go to the hub. No, they won't go to the axle. They'll go to the top of the fork. So we're going to have that swing arm. It goes from the framing, the passenger frame. Where we had the arms reaching out before. Yeah, they'll go to the top of the fork this time, not to the axle. So, you start at the passenger frame, the cage, the body. Well, yeah, don't start there. I think do it the way you did it before. Yeah,
Yeah.
go over there. Yeah, and bring that line, and bring it not to the axle of the wheel. Okay, not there. Up at the top of the fork is where we're going.
Oh.
Yeah. That's it. And bring it higher, a little bit higher.
Oh.
Yeah, so nest in sort of in there, near the top of the fork, and you see Um,
I see. It still can turn, but then you have this
yeah,
reinforcement, right?
it needs to be able to turn, um, but we also want it to float up and down, right? Up and
Right, up
down.
and down. Yeah, cushion. Yeah,
Going to be floating up and
right, up
down,
and down. So
and
spring.
oh, and there's one other one we triangulate, right? We have the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Same idea, line over there. We triangulate that,
yeah,
and then what this is doing, because otherwise that's a long piece standing all by itself, right? So what if it hit a hard bump, right? It might break. It
yeah,
could be like a big arm, right? It's torn away. Hit something hard. So this will help to
yeah.
control the arm.
Right.
And but there's one thing is, let's look at the side view of that. Yeah, bring the whole thing. Yeah, that's it. Now you see the vertical, the way that the tubing supporting the rear wheel is. I think it's completely vertical. Right?
Yeah.
No, the back wheel.
The back.
wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
tubing,
yeah,
that
yeah.
vertical-
It's completely vertical.
It's right. It's exactly vertical.
Yeah.
What we could do is we could put it on a little bit of an angle
I see.
where you make it a kind of
Yeah.
spread out, like push it to the rear, so the contact point of the wheel to the ground is further away, right? It's further away. It's like rotating, pivoting. No,
Yeah.
pivot the whole thing.
Yeah. Whole thing.
Pivot around the top.
Yeah. Turn it.
Yeah. Pivot it from a point up at the top,
Right.
and that's
There.
it. Push it out a little bit. Yeah. What's going to need is that we extend it as well, so it's going to be touching the ground. Or what could happen is we are leaning the car backwards a little bit if we do that, right? So one or the other. If we want to keep the same angle, then we'll let that pipe will be extended. Now we'll stretch the pipe itself to compensate so that we reach the ground. Yeah, if we set the wheel on the ground, then we just extend to make the connection. Okay, so we won't worry about the connection up there, and down below. Now those triangulated swing arm, they need to extend, and what happens is that there needs to be this is where this gets a little bit complicated, okay? Because the wheel is going to be moving up and down with the bumps, right? Whenever it hits the wheel pushes up.
Yeah.
While the vehicle stays stationary, the wheel pushes up. Okay?
Yeah.
So in other words, what we want to do is keep the unsprung weight. Okay, there's a term which we call unsprung.
Yeah.
So if you take the whole weight of the vehicle,
Yeah.
the weight of the vehicle includes the passenger, right?
Yeah.
It includes any kind of baggage or anything you put in. Maybe also, like, for example, our battery, right? We'll have a battery.
Right.
So all of that is inside the structure of the vehicle, inside the cage, right? that we
Yeah.
built. Or maybe just underneath it or whatever. But attached to. So all of that weight together, you deduct. That's called. What you can do is deduct the unsprung weight. So what is the unsprung weight? Is the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Because everything else is going to be stationary, but the wheel is going to move every time you hit a bump.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a spring coil in that vertical arm,
Yeah.
and giving it a little bit incline, it's helpful.
Yeah.
Right? It's so that it can follow, because we want to make this a
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
a follow design. So the third wheel is following. So that incline is helping with the forces that when you hit a bump, that the forces will pull sort of backwards, right?
Yeah.
Not so much
Uh,
upwards, right?
I have a question.
Yeah, it's a vector, right? It's not only a vector upward, but also backward.
So, like traditional bicycle,
Yes,
Yeah.
we
yes,
use
that's right.
damper here.
Yeah, yes, we build in a damper so that it can move up and down.
So the damper is here or
Or the
here.
Well,
in the
it
rod.
has close to those arms, right? And the travel is the distance between where we connect with those arms, the swing arm,
Mm-hmm.
and the wheel, because that's the part that moves, right? Is the part of the pipe below the swing arm. Do you see what I mean? Because you see the pipe doesn't move, does it?
So
This pipe.
Yeah, the pipe itself. Okay, what we have is we have an inside pipe that
Yeah.
moves up and down.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a tube. That's a tube in a tube. So
Right.
the outside
So
tube is
the damper is inside the single
that's
pipe,
right.
That's
Damper is
right.
inside the tube.
not in the two like arms.
Yeah, not in the arms. It's
Now
in
in
the
arm.
tube.
Yeah. It's better
Yeah.
inside the tube. Yeah. Tube in tube.
Yeah, and the top of the fork has a tube that slides inside the other tube. So it's a tube inside a tube.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to draw it?
So
the tube
this structure.
is attached to the outer tube.
Yeah. That's attached to the outer tube. Yeah.
Outer tube.
Then the bottom, the
But the
inner tube. Yeah.
is free to move up and down.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And it has a spring inside that dampens, right?
Yeah.
That takes the
Right.
like you said,
Yeah.
the damp.
Yeah.
Oh, so
That's
the
Anthony.
other-
I can see.
tube
Hello,
is
Anthony.
inside, it can go into and push
We have a
out.
visitor. Hi, who's there? Is that
Anthony, this is the general contractor, the
Oh,
builder.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Hi, Anthony.
Yeah.
Today we're building a vehicle, Anthony.
Yeah. We cannot hear you, Anthony. So maybe yeah, your microphone is not working. I don't know.
It's mute, maybe.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, yeah, this is just like a bicycle.
Yeah, it's very much like a bicycle.
Yeah.
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 So now you see the unsprung weight is the wheel that moves up and down when it hits a bump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the sprung weight tends to stay because it has a higher mass, right?
Yeah.
Has a higher inertia.
Yeah.
So the unsprung weight, which is the vehicle and the passenger and the battery and everything else, that tends to stay motionless, right?
Yeah.
Because it has inertia, right? It wants to stay still.
Yeah.
So the wheel moves up and down.
Yeah.
And the passenger is smooth.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel the bump.
Right.
So the wheel is sprung, moving, but the body and the passenger is still, and that's it's the unsprung. It's not moving. So what we want is to have the maximum unsprung weight because it creates stability, right? If there was no spring, when you hit a bump, everything moves up and down, right? The passenger moves up and down. The whole structure moves every time you hit a bump. But with the spring of the rear wheel, you're controlling that motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can also put another vector of spring in those arms if we want to.
Oh.
Yeah. What if when you hit a bump, they let the whole thing move a little bit backward?
Right.
Right.
Here?
Oh,
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a shock. That's like
Yeah.
a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And then,
Shock.
and then the other motion up and down is like a spring.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't go into the details, but
Yeah.
this is something we can work on.
Right.
Create a shock system
Yeah.
that fits in with this system,
Yeah.
and it helps to smooth out the ride, right?
You put the person on the spring.
Where's this? Oh, this person's in a spring. No, there's no spring inside.
Yeah.
Well, there could be. There could be.
There
I
could be,
shouldn't say
yeah.
no.
Just the seat, right? The seat
Yeah.
on the.
The seat could be sprung as well, but most important is the spring here for the wheel.
Yeah.
We fit that inside that pipe, the outside.
Yeah.
And we could make the inner pipe and the outer pipe.
Yeah. So
You know what I would do? Let's shrink the outside. Let's shrink the pipe we have, and build a pipe around it. Build an.
Oh boy, your girl is very. Daddy,
Yeah.
play with me. Don't draw.
Right. We could put in a kind of a shock in there, and then that arm is helping to stabilize the rear wheel. Yes, and there's one in the other one. Yeah, it would be on center. Yeah, of course. And
well, I
it'd be
can
the same idea on the other side.
copy this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, copy that over the other side.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Don't worry about designing that.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
detail. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
So-
So maybe do the detail.
The spring symbol is good.
Yeah.
And put one over on the other arm as well. Put one over there too,
Yeah. Just.
on the other side. Copy one over there, or mirror it over there. It should be on the center line, right?
Yeah.
I think it's on the. Put it on on center.
Let me find the center line.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe you can mirror it.
Here.
Great.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay. Now let's do a little more on the the trailing, the I don't know what we're calling that, the wheel fork and the stand, I guess. I don't know what the terms are, for these. Probably there's some bicycle terms, we can
Yeah,
use.
bicycle. Let's just like a bicycle, just the reverse.
Yeah, let's say up above the fork. What we have is what we can do is you see the tube that's actually connected to the fork. We can make it a lot. Okay, yeah, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Shorten that one right up to where the arms connect. Push it up all the way up to where the arms are connecting.
Yeah.
Oh no, not so high.
No. To the arms,
Yeah, just where the arms
the
come in.
spring.
The spring arms. They're only lines right now, but they will be. Yeah, go up.
Oh, you remove. Okay, there.
There, right to
There.
there.
Yeah.
About there. Okay, so now what we do is we create a tube inside
Inside the tube. Yeah.
and we extrude that down to the fork.
Right.
And we extrude it into the tube as well and down to the fork. And of course that'll be connection. That's like welded. That's a maybe we'll 3D print these parts.
I just use bicycle part.
Yeah. Okay. And then it extends inside the tube. Yeah. So it goes up into the tube. And extrude it also into the tube. So it's a tube in a tube.
Yeah.
And extend it like an equal distance into the tube. No, not downwardly. The inner one extends upward.
The inner one extend inside.
Yeah, pushes into, extrude it up into the tube. So it's a slide. It's a sliding,
there we go.
a sliding fit, right? So
Yeah.
they're not butting up against each other. The one is smaller. The inner one, the one to the fork, is smaller.
There.
Yeah, that's it. So there we go. And yeah, about like that, about an equal distance. Has to go a bit high.
Bit high, yeah.
Not
Higher,
really
higher.
high. More than that.
Yeah, more than that.
Okay,
Yeah.
about like that.
Yeah.
Like that. About an equal distance, right?
Yeah.
Approximately equal distance. Because that's going to move up and down.
Yeah. You have to have enough room for it
Yeah,
more.
and just up above that, we have another spring.
Yeah.
So right at the top of the fork tube,
I
inside.
think there is something wrong. It's not the same straight line. Let me just do that again.
Oh yeah, it's one piece.
Yeah. I see.
Okay. Okay. There we go.
Let's make another one.
So it's the tube inside the tube. Yeah, there it is. There it's inside.
Yeah.
And at the top of that tube, we'll close it. We'll put like a plate to close.
Yeah.
No, the fork tube. Well, there will be something up there too.
There will be a spring, right? Inside.
Yeah.
Spring inside and to something on the top.
Yeah. So there's a spring inside that tube, and it's pressing on the fork tube.
Yeah.
So the spring is down below, just over top of the.
How to command them?
That tube can more or less go right to the vertex. I mean, there needs to be a fitting though, so you could leave it like that. I mean, it's connected, right? There's all kind of connections that we don't have here yet. So there'll be a flange. There'll be some kind of flange connection, right? Because it needs to be able to pivot. I'm sorry, it needs to be able to pivot outwardly, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't turn. This one doesn't turn.
Right.
But it can pivot.
Right. Can pivot.
Right?
Yeah. Can.
Because of the trailing arm.
That's right. Yeah.
So there'll be a need to allow that connection.
Yeah.
To pivot.
Something to hold it, right? Like a drill a hole to the pipe.
Yeah, it's a plate to plate kind of connection,
Yeah.
like a bearing. It could be a bearing. It's like a pin, but it's able to pivot.
Right. Pivot. Yeah.
So the pivot is not from here, it's from the head?
Yeah. Over there.
Up there, it has to pivot.
Yeah, because
So
you got
the
two
whole
spring.
thing
But this here is
The
not.
spring is there. Yes, that's the spring for the wheel.
Yeah. You gotta have a axle.
Inside the
So
tube, there's a
if
spring.
the pivot is here,
Yeah,
when
pivot
it
there.
turn around, these two arms will hold the.
No, you're not understanding. You're not understanding yet. The tube will not rotate.
That's right.
The tube
The
only-
inside tube rotate.
No,
Yeah.
none of those tubes rotate. Well, okay, that one yeah, the inner tube has to rotate.
Yeah.
The outer tube does not rotate,
Right.
but the outer tube can pivot at the top.
Right.
It's not rotating, it's pivoting. It's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay? It's pivoting in the X or the Y plane, whatever it is.
Y
So
plane.
Put a flange on the top and make a hole
Yeah. Make a
in
hole.
the flange. Let's zoom in, and okay, so push the tube back down a little bit, like an inch or two. Okay, now in this plane, let's look right at the tail. This is the tail view, the end view, right? Looking at the tail. Yeah, so what we need is a plate that's extending from the tube right on the center line, so it's right sitting welded into the tube.
Yeah.
Into the
Yeah, it's a plate extending vertically, and it's
here.
no, it's not a tube. It's not a tube. So come back and look at the tail. Look at the tail view. As a matter of fact, let's look down from above, vertical view.
Yeah.
Okay. Now draw a rectangle right in the center of the tube. Yeah, that's it. Start it at the, yeah, it's less wide. Make it narrow and long, right across. Yeah, goes across on the center line of the tube. Yeah, that's it. On center with the vertex there, and connect it right to the edge of the tube, inside edge of the tube. Stretch that out. Stretch it to touch the tube. Yeah, touch the tube there. Touch the tube up above. Not above, but opposite, on the opposite side of the tube. Now extrude that vertically and also like up and down. Yeah, that's it. Little bit and a little bit down as well. From there we also extend that into the tube. Extend it into the tube. Extrude it.
Oh, okay.
You made it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it has to touch the tube. It's right on the center line. Yeah, because we're going to weld it, right? And it extrudes into the tube.
Yeah.
As well as above. So above is good. You have above, but it also extruded downwardly into the tube. Right? And it has to follow the angle of the tube. As you extrude it, of course, it will, because we drew it from the tube, right? Top of the tube. So we pull it, yeah, that's it, into the tube. And because that's where it's welded, right? It's welded into the tube.
Yeah.
That's a flange fitting, flange welded fitting. And it's right on the center line of the tube.
So there'll be a hole.
And there's a hole. Yeah, there's a hole up there, and that's the pivot hole.
Yeah.
And there's a similar flange on the frame that grips this, right?
Yeah.
And so that this can pivot on that connection.
Right.
It could be a bolt. It's kind of like a bolt.
Yeah.
But it's a swing. It swings.
Yeah, swings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the pivot point. Yeah, and there would be a little axle in there, a little bolt, a little, there's some kind of a device there, a pin. It's like a pin.
Yeah.
It's going to allow this to pivot. So when it hits a bump and the shock arms, allow the movement.
Right.
That's the pivot point.
Yeah.
Either the arm.
Yeah.
So that arm does not rotate, right? It only can pivot. But like you said, the fork can rotate.
Yeah.
Right.
The fork can rotate.
The fork has two motion.
Yeah.
It can move up and down.
Right.
And it can also rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we do is inside that tubing, the big tube, we put a spring. It's inside the tube, and it's right on top of the fork tube.
Yeah.
So the tube that goes up, from the fork, the slip fit tube slips inside. On top of that, we have a spring. Yeah, right on top of that, we have a spring. And that resists the up and down, right? It resists the up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fork tube is going to have some kind of stopper. It can't come out, If it reaches the extent of its travel downward, right?
Yeah.
It can't fall out of the tube.
That's right.
has to be locking there, but it can move up and down.
So we can just simply borrow the bicycle part.
Well, yeah, I mean, the concepts are probably there, things
Yeah.
that we need,
Yeah.
designs that we need. And with this kind of construction, we have a comfortable ride. We
Yeah,
have
very comfortable because
a
lots
ride
of
that's not shaking you up.
yeah,
Also,
lots of
yeah,
room
and
to
that has the efficiency, right? Because
Right.
then you have ground contact. Ground contact is very important.
Yeah.
When you hit a bump, you go airborne, but with this system, the wheel keeps the ground connection, right?
Yeah.
It always keeps the ground connection. So what happens if you go, like when you hit a bump, right, it goes upward and the passenger doesn't move.
Yeah.
But when you go over a pothole, it goes downward
Yeah.
and the passenger doesn't move.
Yeah.
So basically, you keep the passenger position is more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a suspension. We don't have any suspension on the front wheels, right? The wheels are connected to the axle. The axle's on the frame. And every bump we hit is going to rock the passenger, right? The driver.
Yeah.
Like there's only a driver, there's no passenger. Well, you can see how we could put one passenger behind another here.
Yeah.
We just changed the shape a little bit.
Right.
So there could be a passenger, one behind the other, like a motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would only take a little bit of adjustment, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the people inside, the person is not going to be protected from all of the, bumping from the road condition.
Yeah.
Because of the front wheel are not sprung.
No.
And, so half of the weight is on those wheels, let's say.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the unsprung weight is really still pretty high. It's pretty high because all that will move up and down every time you hit a bump. So what we want to do is create a suspension for the front wheels.
That's right.
A suspension. So that is been thinking a lot about that.
Mm.
And what we can do is let's go look at the front wheels. So we'll look from the front, from the nose.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's move the two wheels forward, and just the wheels, only the wheels, and keep them on the ground, So we move them only straight forward. Yeah, that's it. Straight, not the axle though. Sorry, don't move the axle. So undo that motion, leave it where it was, and only move the wheels forward, and move them the same, same distance.
Here?
Yeah, that's it. Keep moving, keep moving. Move them more. Keep going. Pass.
Oh, I see. You create an arm.
There we go. Yes, we
Arm.
create an arm. Yeah, that's it. So now this is very much like we did at the back,
Yeah.
when we did that fork. But these wheels, you see, these wheels don't turn. So we can create a fork around these wheels. Remember how we did the fork before? Let's do another fork around the wheels. Yeah, in fact, we can use the fork we have. And place the fork toward, for the front wheels. Yeah, that's true. That could be that. Yeah, it could be like that. That's possible. But yeah, let's do it like that. We'll have to modify it a little bit, okay? But bring that over to the axle.
Oh. That. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that way, or
Yeah.
it could be the other way. Turn the other way. Put it over by the axle. Yeah, like that, where it should be. So the axle goes through, right in the center of the flange. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And lower it so that the axle goes through. Yeah. Pull it down. Align it now to go through the middle of the flange, right? Don't move anything else. Just move the flange.
Flange?
Yeah, yeah. Move the flange so that it, you know, the fork. Yeah, move it so the axle is going through the flange in the middle of the flange, right? Yeah, push it down now. The flange, only moving the flange. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Position it. Yeah, yeah, like that. That's about right. That's about right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what we need is we're going to need to connect the fork to the axle so that it can swing on the axle. So what it could be is another tube that slips inside the axle.
Inside here?
Yeah. You know, maybe we'd redraw the fork. Maybe the flange is not right because it doesn't really need to look like that. So let's keep the fork, but let's not use the flange we created for the rear wheel. Let's use a different kind of flange. Yeah, that's it. So we'll keep the fork. We'll change the front flange. We'll just make it centered. Make a flange that's right in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the center of the fork. So, yeah. Let's put a plate into the fork at the ends there, but the plate is centered. The plate can fit inside tubing like we did above with the plate. The plate is you know, is a kind of a vertical line. It's going to fit inside. It doesn't, you know, it's a rectangle plate.
Oh, rectangle.
Like we did up above. There's a plate inside the tube. Yeah, and it has yeah, it's extending into the tube. Similar way, yes, like that. That's it. So less thick, lighter in terms of thickness of the plate. Yeah, that's it. Less, even less. Okay, that's all right, probably. And then it extends into tubing. And it extends out of, yeah, so it's outside and inside the tube. And then we might also need to shorten the tubing. Oh, but anyway, we'll think about it. It's right beside the wheel. You know, maybe the whole fork is more like a plate. I don't know. You know, this is something that needs more thought. It's just a schematic, right? This is just like a diagram. Okay, now make that plate. Okay, we make the plate much more bigger, like square. Right now it's like rectangle. Make it more square, not thicker, right? Just yeah. And see, because what we want to do is make a connection to the axle through that plate. Like the axle through the plate, so it needs to be, yeah, pretty much bigger. Also, you know, we can make that axle smaller diameter. That axle looks really big. That's pretty smaller diameter. But the plate be a bit bigger, and an axle a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's good. That's about that. And the plate is a bit bigger. And it can go through the, okay, yeah, shortening the tubing. Okay, yeah. And then we make the axle longer so that it reaches out to